we're looking somewhere between a 1917 moment with the Russian Imperial Army and a 1918 moment with the German Imperial Army. And we'll see which way this goes. Why I'm saying there's two differences. In 1917, the Russian Imperial Army collapsed morally. The provisional government that overthrew the Tsar, the liberals overthrew the Tsar, created these soldiers' unions that could vote down any order that they got from any of their commanding officers. So you got this chaos on the Russian front where some units just threw down their weapons and went home. Other units fought only defense, and other units stood and fought and continued to try to do an offensive. Versus the German army in 1918, they just disintegrated totally, and they just went home, streaming in. So it's interesting where we're going to go with this, because what we're seeing now, attrition warfare. I'll tell you, first of all, most Western field grade officers really cannot understand attrition warfare. They're so boxed in to maneuver warfare that they really. I listen to these guys, and what they're saying is, and you understand, they have no clue what an attrition warfare involves. Especially more modern. They can't get out of the big movements, the big division, core level movements. Well, attrition warfare doesn't do a lot of movement at first, but in the end, it does gigantic movements. Because once you get to the point where the enemy is attrited, it can no longer hold the front. It can no longer plug in troops in to plug any breakthroughs. Once you get to that point, that's it. Then you start having big exploitations breaking through and large chunks going. And we've seen this, it's that effect of some small snowballs are coming down the mountainside. Nah, no big deal. Well, now you've got a lot of dust and snow coming down, and it's a big deal because you realize that's an avalanche. It's not a full avalanche yet, but that's an avalanche. And we're at the base of that mountain, and that's going to all come down on top of us. And that's what we're seeing right now. I mean, look, Gulyai-Pole is a prime example. So for 2 years, Russian troops couldn't get up to Gulyai-Pole. Why? Because Gulyai-Pole is a high ground surrounded by low ground. That's plains, farm fields that's easily shot through. Any troops, especially with drone warfare, any troops that were getting up, the only way they could approach was from the south. That southern area was very easily shot through, and it was a failure every time. The Russian military lost several companies of armored vehicles and troops trying to get up there, trying to get to the city, to the edges of the city. To the east were fortified villages and a fortified line that stretched up 50 plus kilometers north of the city, 50, 60 kilometers north of the city. What happened? As the Ukrainian forces are being attrited further and further, those lines are being destroyed. Russian troops were able to get up to those villages, and the villages fell fast. And from those villages to Gulyai-Pole on the east side, you're talking about, I think, about 10 kilometers. They covered those 10 kilometers in a couple of days. And then we're investing the city from the east. Now, you've got this long line of heavy fortification going about 50, 60 kilometers north of the city. What did Russian forces do? They went around them. Because north of that, there are no fortifications. And the Ukrainian line was so thin, they couldn't stop the Russian forces from breaking through in the north. So they go in the north, and then they turn around, and then they start going south and rolling up those fortifications because they're going now behind the line of fortifications. Yeah, sure, sit in your trenches. You're a dead man. You either run or you surrender because you've got Russian troops now from three directions. Your only direction left is to continue rolling down toward Gulyai-Pole. And once Gulyai-Pole is gone, most of Zaporozhye that's not part of Russia now is just an open field. Right up to the Dnieper, where you've got Zaporozhye city, that has one bridge across the Dnieper, and other than that, really is very hard to defend. It's a relatively open area, so you're looking at a collapse. You look at collapse because what happened is Ukraine's got attrited. It got attrited to the point where it can no longer fight. Morale collapses. The prosecutor general in Ukraine opened up 400,000 cases of desertion. Just for audiences to put that in perspective, that's the entire military of France and the UK combined. And that's just desertions. And a lot of those desertions, and here's the key point, a lot of these desertions are veterans. Veterans have been fighting for a year, 2 years, some of them for 3 or longer, but they figured out, I'm leaving this battlefield in one of two ways. I'm either going to be a corpse and eventually get picked up in a body bag, or I'm going to leave on a stretcher. But that's the only way this ends for me. You know, thanks. I'm picking up my army men off the sandbox and I'm going home. And the hell with all of you. And there's tens of thousands of those leaving. So what can you say for the other guys that just got press ganged off the street? Flip side, if you've noticed, the videos that are starting to come out, the reports are starting to come out from Western and Central Ukraine. The press gangs are starting to get killed. They're starting the men. The men have finally, the survival instincts clicked up in here, and the men are now walking around in groups of 6, 7, 8, 10 guys. They try to grab one, the other, the wolf pack goes in and just beats the crap out of them or kills them. There's been incidents of that. There was a guy in Lvov who was a Banderite walking around the street. The press gang Banderite called him over to give me your documents. Said, hell no. That guy grabs him by the arm. The first guy takes a knife and puts him in his throat. End of the press gang. There's lots of videos coming out where they're beating their cars up, pulling guys out of those cars. It's no longer just women. The remaining men finally decided, I'm going to survive. And the only way we survive is we're band together and we go as a wolf pack and we attack these guys. But this is the societal breakdown. Not only do we not support this government, we're not going to fight for this government. We're sure hell not going to die for this government. Because Ukraine is a 3-tier society. The middle class, lower middle class, and lower class, they get to go die. The upper middle class and the lower upper class. By the way, why these press gangs in the past have allowed themselves to be videotaped as they beat the crap out of people, break their arms, literally beat them to death if they fight hard enough, is it's advertisement. Look what's going to happen to you. Or you can come over and give me $10,000 and I'll write out a little white piece of paper on a form that says you're not fit for combat. That's your get out of jail card. Plus 5,000, went to 10. I think it's 25,000 right now. Inflation. So that class of people buy their way out and then get the hell out of Ukraine. And they become these ultra nationalists sitting in Ireland or in Deutschland or in Italy beating up some brown-skinned guy screaming, I am a fascist, which, by the way, actually happened. 2 of them happened. And there was videotape that was back in 23, screaming, I'm a fascist. Great, you're all fascists. That's great. Where are you? As far away from the front as you could possibly be. Yeah, these are the guys screaming, we're going to fight to the last Ukrainian, because they've got no skin in the game. They're not there. And then you've got the elites at the very top. They're the guys partying in Malibu. They're the guys partying in Monaco. They're the cars that back in 2022, the Moldovans were videotaping all these super expensive cars with Ukrainian plates on them, stashed out in Moldova, and then they eventually kept on going to other areas and better party locations. And they're the ones that are playing the Ukrainian Ukrainian
Anthem.
Anthem. Thank you. Sorry, mental breakdown there. Playing the Ukrainian anthem as they're doing body shots and being asses. So this is the 3 tiers of Ukrainian society. I mean, this is not a society that's going to win a war. This is not a society that's coherent. But that's what's formed now.